is Al Newman with the Upper Deck Report coming to you from Bandits Heights, the home of the Minnesota Baseball Academy, and we're back here with John Anderson and Adam Barta, and every week, fellas, we've been doing these podcasts, and finally this weekend we had a tournament in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. A nice little showcase. My first time experiencing something like that, and I'll ask both of you, can you give a description of what that tournament beholds for the players?
Yeah, the Perfect Game Colonel's Foundation Tournament's been the 10th year of the tournament. It's been a pretty big plethora of players and scouts. You know,
Sure.
this tournament's a pretty big time tournament in the Midwest, and although all the teams are there to win the tournament because you get a bid to go down to Jupiter and play in probably the biggest World Series in the country, it's also a place where kids can showcase their talent. So it's run a little differently from a coach's standpoint in that, you know, you have an X amount of pitchers who are going to throw every game. Typically, when your guy's going good,
right,
you just let them go. But you know, with this tournament being that scouts are coming to see certain guys play and pitch, you know, pitching rotations are slotted a little different. So it's really nice for the kids because it gets them a lot of exposure.
A lot of exposure. And, you know, Johnny, I did start the tournament with you, the one game.
I know.
But when Adam talks about the different scouts and the showcase for the players, you know, what is something that, since he's more of a pitcher, you're more of a hitter, what did you notice? Because the one thing I thought was that the players were going to have to up their game a little bit with the velocity that they saw in the breaking stuff.
You know, and as he said, you know, with it being a scout and there being a lot of talent, obviously talent lies in the pitchers at a young age, and velocity was better. And to be consistent, people really had to, you know, to get the bat head out front.
Right, yes, they sure did.
You can see some issues that arise there with young kids that are seeing velocity and using wood bats, trying to get the bat head out front and then waving at breaking pitches and balls out of the zone. So it kept the scores down in games.
It did, yeah.
Because there's a lot of quality pitchers, and, you know, the things that you preach to the little kids about walks and errors, they really show through when nobody hits.
Yes,
you know?
when nobody hits. You know, Johnny, to go with that, when you haven't seen velo like that or off-speed pitches, and you know you're being scouted, we as hitters know that sometimes you get a little antsy up there and you seem to swing at pitches out of the strike zone.
Absolutely, Al. I mean, you played long enough, you hit it right on the head. You're looking every pitch up there. You're looking like a 2-0 hack, and you really want to drop head so all the scouts can you know, ooh and ah and write your name down. But what happens is when you're less selective, you know, less times you put the barrel on the ball.
Or most definitely. And on the other side of that,
yes,
Adam, you know, with all the scouts, you know, you got the radar guns up, and I know if I was a pitcher and I was competing against other high school stars or other guys who may potentially be draft choices, it amps you up as a pitcher.
Yeah, there's an advantage and disadvantage for pitchers in this tournament. The advantage is, number one, you're facing guys that are swinging wood. You know, that's number one. Number two, typically speaking, pitchers not necessarily from an endurance standpoint, but an arm strength standpoint, are typically ahead of hitters at this time of the year.
Yes,
There's been that month and a half break in Minnesota where guys haven't been playing baseball,
and
they're trying to catch back up.
And we've seen that a lot with Minnesota Twins, you know, coming out the disabled list, not being able to hit. But
no comment.
Yeah, exactly.
So you see those two advantages. The disadvantage for pitchers, I think, at this level, and it's a big level for these guys, but at the same time, a lot of these guys are pretty young in their pitching careers.
Yes.
And they've been pitching against metal bats most of their careers. And when you pitch against metal bats, you're pitching away from contact.
Yes, you are.
And when you're facing wood, the game changes a little bit. You're pitching more to contact rather than trying to get the swings and misses. So from an approach standpoint, you really see the pitchers in the program who have grasped that approach. And I think most of our guys have. But at the same time, you see some guys trying to pitch away from contact, and the things that some of our guys need to mentally focus on is probably compete in the game rather than pitch to the radar
gun. That was the topic that I was going to follow this up with.
Yeah.
On both sides, as a round table topic, is pitchers are amped up, hitters are amped up, and now it's competing. And when you put those pieces together with the radar guns, scouts, college coaches,
oh yeah,
it sometimes goes a bit awry and guys try to do more than they're capable. Instead of competing, they're just reacting to whatever excites them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I talked to Coach Brown. He's the head coach up at North Dakota State, and he was talking about the kinds of pitchers that they're starting to recruit. Now, obviously, you want the Division I level. You want a guy 87 and 91 out of high school.
Perfect world, yeah.
6'3", Division I type pitcher. But now with the BB Core bats, and the bats, where balls aren't going 550 feet every ball hit by the number 8 hitter.
Yes.
Now guys have to learn how to hit. And pitchers have a serious advantage. So you might not necessarily need the 88 guy. You don't need the velocity guy.
You need a guy that knows how to pitch.
And a guy that knows how to pitch and that will put the ball in play.
And Johnny, he talks about the bats, the adjustments as a hit guy or as a manager trying to get the offense to work. I think the bunt came back into the game with the evolution of the new procedures as far as the radius of the bat's distance differential.
Yeah, and the BB Core bats, to me, they look like wood bats. That's like the sound, the feel, the distance. Hopefully, it all shifts back to a wood bat game. They just don't break like a wood bat. But even in our program, our leadoff hitter on our top varsity team is a throwback.
Right. Yes, he is. Old slap and run type guy. And I tell you what, fellas, we're dealing with the new changes and evolution of the game. And I think for scout or coaches, now I think if you're a professional scout or a college coach, you're actually getting what you think you're seeing, and you eliminate the expanded distance that balls travel. This is Al Newman with the Upper Deck Report. When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk about this upcoming week, the World Series here for the Minnesota Baseball Academy.